Hi, my name is Nicholas Kennedy, and welcome to my backyard studio in El Sereno, Los Angeles. Right now working on a series of 4 small works, taking a break from all of the large paintings to try to make a few things that are a bit more manageable.
Are you from LA?
I'm not from LA, I'm from Alabama, and I've been here for about 10 years. I moved out here to work at Disney for their marketing division, so I was making a lot of official Disney fan art. I did that for about 6 years.
When did you move on to sort of full-time painting?
It's relatively new. I would say in the last 5 years, I started doing painting more and more. I just wasn't feeling satisfied in animation, wasn't really vibing with that job anymore, and my partner, who's already an established contemporary painter, encouraged me to paint bigger and bigger. And while I was working in animation, I was doing a lot of plein air paintings, like little 6-inch studies of whatever was in front of me. And after doing that for 6 years, I was just like, I need to get bigger, and she encouraged me to get bigger and built all my stretchers for me and like set up a space and like kind of sat me down with a big canvas and said, just paint the big canvas. And after like the first 3 failures, I was kind of hooked.
What mediums do you work in?
I used to be only oil, like exclusively oil paint, but very recently, like in the last few years, I've started working with primarily acrylics just because it's so much faster and it dries faster and I can do a lot of layering. So I'll do a lot of acrylic underpainting all the way up until about this kind of stage on this painting, and then I'll bring in pastels and oils and start to have a mixed media kind of a party.
How do you get the ideas for what you paint?
All of the ideas for what I paint are kind of born out of my own life and experiences and things like that. I don't really paint a lot of people in my paintings, or I don't include a lot of people in my paintings. I'm kind of an introverted person, kind of stick to myself. So a lot of environments and scenes, I like to display the personality of a fictional person by showing their environment. Started out as a background painter for animation, and that kind of informed a lot of what I paint. So before even doing plein air paintings, I was working on these digital paintings ever since like high school and college. I was a Photoshop junkie. It's kind of my second language. And so I would make these digital paintings of scenes that you could, not too different than now, you could see the personality of whoever might live there through the scene, but it was all to the end of getting work in animation. So it was very like business oriented. I was very focused on like, how will this get the biggest reaction on Instagram or Tumblr or whatever. So it's super different than what I'm making now, where it's more focused on how will I feel about this if I show it to the world.
You said you're like a master of Photoshop. Do these pieces sort of start as images you design in Photoshop?
It kind of goes in and out. So a lot of these pieces will start as really simple sketches, just like done really simply in a sketchbook, kind of with no fanfare. And then I might take a photo of that, bring it into Photoshop and test out some colors just to see if the idea has legs. And then those Photoshop sketches are really, really rough and loose and dirty. And then I'll kind of go into the painting and run with it. So this one is actually a digital painting I made like 5 years ago. And then I decided to kind of reinvigorate it and try to bring it into my modern practices, to kind of marry the old with the new. And this one right here is the preliminary study of my cat painting. And I was just kind of trying to make sure it worked. I lost the pencil sketch of that one. This painting is already out of the studio, but a lot of these digital works have a lot of collage elements. I have a like 5 gigabyte folder of photos of plants that I found on the internet or other people's TikToks or Instagrams, and I save them and then I'll cut them all up into my little digital collage, do a little bit of Photoshop painting on it, and then that's like my reference for the painting. But I usually abandon these pretty quickly once I start actually getting into the painting. This is another kind of half photo collage, half digital painting that ended up becoming this guy. So it changes a lot. Why is it slowly moving?